Apart from getting over my hangover, we're on to this one. Poltergeist. Wow. No. What do you like Poltergeist? Not the Poltergeist, the Dud one. I remember reviewing that one, and I remember ranting this one before. Not about the Dud Poltergeist from 1982 with John Hooper, Steven Spielberg, and I say it and I keep saying it. I don't give a damn who directed it. It's still a Dud film. Not about that one. Not on about the damn Dud sequel. Poltergeist 3, you can definitely see if I would look like that. I've already done a rant on it, and I did a part 1 and a part 2 rant on it. This one, on the other hand, is Poltergeist, the 2015 Poltergeist. Wasn't wanted, wasn't needed, and I'll get to why it wasn't needed. Oh, it was out of date because in the early 80s, they didn't have LCD TVs, they didn't have fat screen TVs, they didn't have TVs like the cinema, they didn't have mobiles. What is it with today's remakes? They're going to remake something because back in certain era, it was the 80s and so on, they didn't have a frigging mobile. I don't want to watch a movie to see the latest mobile, the latest laptop, the latest LCD TV, and the other technology. I'm watching the movie to be entertained. Say it again. Enter-fucking-tained. And this film was not entertaining. It was generic. It was boring. You relied on jump scares. It had 3D gimmicks. I know that's Poltergeist 2, and I said that on the last rant. I had to do that, but back then they had brain cells, like today's Hollywood, and this is a prime example. Let's start with the monstrosity of this film. Start off, you see a video game, and you see the most annoying kids going. These kids are bloody annoying. Seriously, I know I work in a kids' charity shop, but seriously, these kids are annoying. These kids are enough to make a couple and a woman who's planning on having kids have a bloody abortion. Seriously, because these kids are so annoying. When you hear them in the car going, rah, 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 all the way through, you know what sort of film you're getting yourself in for. Now, got another against a little girl. Right, like I say, I work in a charity shop with kids, but this girl, in all fairness, is nowhere for all look. Does not touch the surface of ever all look. The actors, why not? I'm on a walking roller. Now, the reason when I did a review on Annabelle the remake was because that tried to be its own film. Yes, there was bits where they tried to copy from the original, but it's true. Tried to be its own film. This, on the other hand, this is generic. The director I've never even heard of. Look, all it was a brand name. What can we do to make a brand name? You take away the word Poltergeist and just put Haunted House or whatever title you want to put on this film, this monstrosity. It'll just be your everyday generic ghost story, one off the mill, boring haunted house film what they make nowadays. That's all it would be. It would just be a generic frigging film. And it is. So they moved to their house, just like the original one. No, it is, they moved to their house in this one. I do it just tried to be different, like Annabelle the remake. But with Annabelle the remake, I can take it or leave it. For some reason, that would never piss me off. This did, because I love Poltergeist. I think the original is a classic. It never needed a remake. Nobody wanted a remake. It was never needed. It's now forgotten with. You can probably pick it up now for fucking 99p in some shop. You can pick it up in that shop if you're lucky for £1. Well, to me, it's just a waste of £1. Buy a Mars bar for that. Right? But nevertheless, the house very rarely gets mentioned, right? It was haunted. And that's what made the original one. The not knowing. And then you find out at the middle it was built on a burial ground. The boss was just being greedy and he knocked off the gravestones. You know the bit at the end where the father says, "Why did you knock the gravestones down? Why?" That scene, that was interesting. It gets mentioned in a dinner party. This film is boring. Unlike the original and the second one, you can see there was a budget. You can see there was a budget. In this, I don't see there's a budget. The actors, I'll do it again, why not? The Wooden family. They're just the Wooden family. End of fucking discussion. They're wondering. They're not the Feaky family. The Feaky family was your typical American, funny family, had an art to the film. Even the second one had an art to it. You know, you felt for them and Talaran got stuck. And that's something else that annoys me. The mum in the original, I love to see him as he says, she went through my soul. That brings a tear to my eye. In this, I never felt that from the mum. Never felt it. I'm never going to look up the actress's name. It's an insult. It's an insult because she couldn't act. Couldn't act the way out of a paper bag. She was just wooden. I've seen photos of these and they were so frigging wooden. Even the photos look wooden. They look false. Foaming it in. Wooden. Do you want to base the older sister? It's an insult on the one who's no longer with us. May she rest in peace. I know it's how the stupid director, but she's spoiled. I want the latest laptop. I want the latest mobile. She knows that her father is on a downer and he can barely afford a pot to pee in. That's the only thing how different it's doing. This, he's not an house salesperson, the father. He's died down on his luck. So there are bits, like I say, where it's hard to copy. The lad stared up a tea, but this time we get shitty CDR. But the lad in this, he's just a wimp. He's a wimp, everything. You could go boo to him and he run off like a shit bag. So you've got a shitty CDR looking tea. It only looks fake compared to the original. Talaran walks, she sees the light. Just like the original, and it doesn't drag her this time. She walks to the light and the door shuts. You got the idea that it's a ducted door. And there's a shitty CGI. You got fucking shitty steel. You know, steel eats nuts, jump out at you. You can't do that. Now remember the bit where the toy come alive near the end and attacks the lad, drags him by the neck and drags him under the bed. You do sort of see that and it jumps out. Again, I've seen posters of it where it does look more frightening, where it's smiling at you. In this, you see it, you blink. It's a typical boo-hoo jump scare. His eyeballs pop out, shitty CGI. Don't forget, they can't do anything practical these days. And that's all it is, a boo-hoo jump scare. The actors are just wooden. They're just wooden. You know what I mean? There's nothing to this film. Nothing. Unlike the original, where it had the twist ending, where you think it's going to be a happy ending. Doesn't get it in this. Now, yeah, I know. I don't want a tartan chopper, but I don't want an original turned to shit. And that's what this director did. To me, this director wanted to make a typical one-of-the-mill movie. Didn't think it was going to be a success because they made loads of haunted house films over 2000 and so on. And it was just being, if you took away Poltergeist and put in haunted house, it'd just be a generic haunted house film. You see loads of times. Jump scares, CGI order, and frigging boo-hoo jump scares with wooden actors. That's all it would be. That is all it would be. So you get a die, right? This guy's no chance of leaving. He comes in it. That's put on the worst Irish accent. He runs a ghost show, like, you know, the haunted house and all that. They send these popes to try and rescue Thailand. That reminds me of The Runaway, but The Runaway is a better film than this, believe me. Got shitty CGI things flying about. Died to be boo-hoo jump scares, like you've seen loads of times. Make a chinking chain, but I'm just getting over my hangover. That's more frightening, believe me. So they get Thailand, just like the original one. And the guy who's doing the ghost show gets sucked in and you think he's dead. But he isn't. The twist ending this. It turns out he's alive. He's now running his own TV show, just like Haunted House and all that crap. But this has to be the stupidest ending. Stupid. They go to the woman that sold them the house to pretend they're interested and then they just drive off. End of movie. End of my patience and all. This film did not need to be made. That from that, which I don't know why, because it bombed. I hope to God this director never directs a movie ever again. He's definitely no Steven Spielberg. Well, that's out of order. Did you say that when Poltergeist 2 came out? Poltergeist 2 was its own movie. The director had a hard time trying to make it, you know, trying to live up to Steven Spielberg and John Hooper. But I see she had imagination. There's no imagination. No, there's bits where it has to copy from Poltergeist 3, where his hands come out of mud, just like in the third one where they come out of water. Only shitty CGI. You got a wooden thing coming out of the father, like electric Jill. And I think you come to a dive ripping his face off like the original. Do a big electric Jill. That in typical jump scares. You see a mile away. A mile of freaking way. You see it in every freaking ghost film going. The jump scares, you know they're going to happen before they happen. That's what's wrong with today's horror movies. You know when a jump scare is going to happen before it happens. You know, boo. You know what I mean? You know that's going to happen before I even did it. You know the way I hesitated, I was going to do something stupid like that. And that's what's wrong with horror movies today. There's no art to it. You don't give a shit about the family. You don't give a shit about the kids because they're spoiled, annoying brats. The there's no overall look. I know that's wrong to say. She's doing it her own way. But the director doesn't direct them. Doesn't direct them. That's why I said he's no Steven Spielberg. He's just trying to tass in on the brand name. And it didn't work. And it's just that's what's wrong with horror movies today. They died to tass in on the name. And this is a pilot sample of tassing in on a name. You know what? The only imagination this film had. I love the bit where the little girl tucks in the hands and it all tucks in the TV. I thought that had a good little touch to it. And I do like some of the posters they did. That little dude stood next to the door and you see the light over the door. And the one that I just said, when he got the tester towel and he's smiling like that. That was more scary than the frigging thing itself when I saw the frigging film. So there's no imagination in this. It's like I always said, they should have just stuck to the original and the second one. They should have done. We already know what I think about the third one. That's an insult. But this one, is it as bad as the third one? No, because they don't insult every look and alter the ending. But in all fairness, did this movie need to be made? Does it piss me off? Yeah, it does. But it doesn't piss me off that I'm going, Rah! It just pisses me off that they took a name, a brand name, stuck Poltergeist on it, put 3D gimmicks on it, jump stairs see a mile away, guard it a day. You know what? I'm going to guard it a day. Movie didn't need to be made. Take away Poltergeist, the name, just your typical generic, one off the mill. The director, wherever you are, don't have a director film again. You've got no imagination. Cheery shows it. Movie's a piece of crap. Just stick to the original. Because this director is definitely no Steven Spielberg. And he's definitely no fucking John Hooper. Bullshit. How's that for a new name? Poltergeist. That's the frigging remake. End of movie. End of rant. Oh, and points. I'll give the posters the points. Because the film does not have any points. See you later.